Appointments to foreign missions leads to a heated debate in Parliament.
Demonstrations in Colombo against the budget.
Namal Rajapaksa responds to a claim made by Dilan Pereira.
WBO Women's World Boxing Championship to be held for the first time in Sri Lanka at Stein Studios, Ratmalana.
A very good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News here on MTV Sports and Shakti TV. I'm Ramesh Irugal Bandara. Joining me tonight is Jitendra Gurusel. Good evening, Jitendra.
Good evening, Ramesh.
Well, there were heated debates in Parliament and an alleged altercation at the Ministry of Sports. We have all the details on the bulletin tonight.
Yes, Ramesh, we also have a very special guest later on in the bulletin. And now let's take a look at the top story for tonight. The annual conference of the Judicial Services Association was held in Colombo this morning.
The event, which was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena, was also presided over by Chief Justice His Lordship K. Sri Pavan and Minister of Justice Vijayadas Rajapaksa.
There was a time when protests were staged in front of judges, residents, when the judiciary didn't obey instructions and messages or orders sent by the executive. We all remember how the Chief Justice had to vacate her office in 48 hours simply because she did not comply to the orders of the executive. The 11 months that our government was in power exemplifies the true meaning of the word good governance. We took all possible steps to establish good governance in all institutions of the country. I wish to clearly state that I will perform my duties and responsibilities to the fullest and that it is possible to establish a new constitution in the coming future.
The rule of law sustains democracy and it is equally true that to a bold and independent judiciary is assigned the task of maintaining the rule of law. The impartiality and independence of the judiciary, however, depends on the high standards of conduct followed by judges. Only if the highest possible standards are adhered to can the faith of the common man in the judiciary be maintained. It is the duty of the courts to ensure that while exercising their powers, they do not overstep their permissible limits and act within the bounds of the Constitution and the law. Greater the power, greater is the need for restraint.
We are going to establish a constitutional assembly on the day that we are celebrating our first anniversary, where that we formed our national government. The 9th of January next year, we are going to announce and establish a constitutional assembly, enabling them to make a new constitution, which will take the opinions and ideas of the people from every sector, and it will be open till 31st of March. Everybody has a right to send their proposal to make the best constitution suitable for our local identity.
Welcome back. Let's quickly cross over to the News First newsroom where we have a special guest lined up. Joel, over to you.
Well, right, we have indeed a very special and beautiful guest in our studios today, and she is ready to talk to you in a little while. Stay with News First, keep it locked.
Well, we will have that interview with that special guest all the way from Tokyo, Japan, a little later on in the news bulletin. But before that, on to one of our headline stories. Speaking in Parliament today, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the Sri Lankan missions have not achieved the expected goals in establishing international relations. He added that persons are being named for missions and its positions on a political basis.
Can you please include into the Hansard the names of persons who are not in the foreign service but have been appointed to foreign missions? Can you give us the numbers?
There are 24 who are with the foreign service. Those who are not with the foreign service are 23.
When appointments are made for the post of ambassador, there are regulations that 70% of the appointments needs to be of the foreign service, while 30% should not be of the foreign service. When you take a look at the present percentage, 51% comes from the foreign service, while the others make up the 49%.
There is a policy that appointments for the post of ambassadors and high commissioners should be done with a mix of persons in the foreign service and not in the foreign service. So that percentage changes from time to time.
There is no such regulation. This is sometimes said by officials from the foreign service. When this government was elected, we decided that we will not have that percentage. All suitable persons will be appointed. Some of them had to be recalled to Colombo and the government's policy was explained to them. There are persons who do not know that. All suitable persons in the foreign service will be appointed.
Persons who attended interviews discussed the 30% and 70% matter. This may not be a policy. It may not be your policy, but that was discussed. Please wait for my question. Do not panic. Read the list of names. Who are these persons appointed to New York, Washington DC, Paris, Rome, Beijing, Tokyo and Sydney? These are countries that are important to the foreign service. However, you have appointed persons from the working committee to those countries. You must accept that fact. Some have been taken to the high post committee and said that their qualification is member of the working committee. That is what is mentioned in their CV. Your policy is not an issue for us. However, there was criticism that led to the downfall of the government in the past. Casting aside all these criticism, you have made political appointments to the nations which we have market, business and monetary relations.
Actually, when the working committee is capable of calling the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the UK and resolving an issue, you and I both are aware that when we were in the opposition, the foreign relations that the UMP had was the reason for businesses to move ahead. We had given that benefit for this country. If we are to make the foreign service official, they will not mention about this. Come next year, we will bring all of them back to Sri Lanka and give them a train. The trade policy needs to be taken forward. We cannot say the same old thing to the world. Our people must be trained. You cannot simply battle with the world. President Maithripala Sirisena is not like King Dutugamunu.
First and foremost, we condemn the statement made by the Prime Minister. Honourable Speaker, we condemn it politically. Based on what he has said, this country does not need a foreign service. You can appoint clerks and typists. Take a look at Geneva. As a person, I know of what Ravinatha Aryasinghe did. I am not making a selective statement. Persons who had gained knowledge and experience with time are paramount for the foreign service. The same goes for the economy and security. You can even include normal people as conscripts for the army.
Ravinatha Aryasinghe did not do anything in Geneva. Everything was done from Colombo. The minister did it from New York, while myself, the foreign minister and the secretary to the ministry came together and did the ambassador's role from here.
Well, we now cross over to a visibly gleeful Joel Outschool, who is at News First newsroom for that special interview that we hinted about earlier in Bulletin. Joel, over to you.
Well, thank you, Ramesh. I'm very sure you'd have loved to be here hosting this interview, but what to do, that's how life moves on. So, as mentioned earlier on, we have with us a very beautiful and special guest in our studios, and she's all the way from Japan, the very beautiful personality. She is Sachie Ogawa. Nice to have you with us. Are you Bowen?
Ayubowan.
How are you doing today?
Very good.
Well, I believe this is your first time here in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And what do you think about Sri Lanka? Your thoughts about Sri Lanka?
Oh, yeah. I just arrived yesterday, but so far I really enjoy the nature and food, and then especially the people are kind, so I really like here.
Well said. Well, also you took part in an event, Empower the Women program, organized by this very organization. What do you have to say about this initiative?
I was really honored to be that kind of women's event, and also I really impressed that many Sri Lankan women have passion for getting their rights.
And also, Sachi, there should be a reason as to why you are here. Our audience also might want to know why you are here in Sri Lanka. If you may tell them why you are here in Sri Lanka.
Oh, tomorrow they're gonna be the first pro boxing title match from evening.
So you're here to appear in the boxing. championship, which is to take place tomorrow.
Yes.
First of its kind here in Sri Lanka.
To present to Japan too.
Very well. I'm sure that's something all of us are looking forward to. And also, beauty is something which comes with a purpose. In your context, how would you use your beauty to serve a purpose?
I believe that the beauty is not that special, and every woman, everyone have a beauty in mind, so that make people more happier. Yeah, I think the beauty is the power, and also the grateful is the beauty.
Well, you say beauty is something which is very powerful, and with beauty you could do a lot of things to change the world.
Yeah, change the world, and also the beauty can change the people too.
Very well said. Finally, there's a message you would like to give out to the Sri Lankan community. What is that simple message?
Message. I really love to Sri Lanka's people, to interested in our culture and tradition, and I am here to promote our beautiful tradition. So yeah, I'm happy to have interest in our country.
Well, thank you very much, Saji, for joining here with us this evening. All the very best in everything you do.
Thank you very much.
Well, back to the studio.
Thank you very much. That was Joel Outskoon, a very happy Joel Outskoon.
Now on to more local news. Journalists raised a question from MP Namal Rajapaksa over the statement made by State Minister Dilan Pereira.
He was always like that. Even when he was with Madam Chandrika, Mahinda and with President Sirisena, he is like that. There was a time when he attempted to drink poison. He speaks emotionally. You must not take them serious.
Welcome back to the news. The 35th 10 Outstanding Young Persons of Sri Lanka Awards Ceremony 2015, or TOIP 2015, organised by the Junior Chamber International Sri Lanka, was held in Colombo last evening.
Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake was the chief guest of the event. The 10 Outstanding Young Persons of Sri Lanka program serves to formally recognize young people who excel in their chosen fields and exemplify the best attributes of the world's young people. Individuals between the ages 18 to 40 were nominated for the awards, taking into account their achievements and contributions to the respective field or industry. Director Promotion Sirasa Shakti and YFM Thanuja Jayawardena was awarded TOIP 2015 under the category of contribution to arts, culture, literature and media.
The new budget that came in 2015 for 16, we have dared the system. We have changed the course of what has gone before. And we believe that the intrinsic skills of our Sri Lankans would help us to go forward. Sri Lanka needs to be noticed in the world, and that is happening today. But human records have today been changed, and as a result the world is looking at us.
My gratitude goes out to each and every individual, from the most humble to the highest level, who strengthened me throughout my journey. I honor and love the Black American figure Maya Angelou. She is an author. In one place she says that success is liking yourself, liking what you do and liking how you do it.
Renowned film director Leslie Udwin, who is also a campaigner for women's rights, shared her thoughts on empowering women in a much broader scale. Attorney Aritha Wickramasinghe also commented on the matter.
The disease is the mindset of gender inequality, and until we address that, until we change the mindset, we will get nowhere. We will be in a vicious cycle of violence. So we need to look in the mirror and very clearly commit ourselves to gender equality. And the only way to change a mindset is education. So I'm actually here in Sri Lanka. I am so utterly impressed. I've fallen in love with this new government that is so committed to change. We have had meeting after meeting with ministers who understand human rights, are committed to them, and Sri Lanka is going to be the first country in the world to pilot the Equality Studies Education Initiative, with which we are going to teach our children empathy, respect, compassion, human rights, in short.
Throughout our life, we're only taught in schools the basic skills of literacy and numeracy, but we fail to teach children the education of the heart, the education of valuing another human being, the education of being compassionate towards others, and the education of human rights and equality. And this is what this initiative is about. It's about teaching children these basic values of mankind and to appreciate and value another human being. We failed this as a generation and as a people. My whole life I knew was Sri Lanka in civil war. A civil war which was caused because we failed to appreciate and value other human beings. It is time that we stop this vicious cycle of hatred and discrimination, whether it is towards women, whether it is towards other minorities, or any other person who is different to us.
Well, all preparations are underway at Stein Studios, Ratmalana, to host Sri Lanka's first ever Women's World Title Boxing Championship. It is being conducted by the World Boxing Organization and is another first by the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited under its Sports First brand.
Today saw the press conference of the event where the official weighing-in ceremony took place.
The boxing championship, being held in association with Yasushi Hirayama of Future Promotions and Daisuke Kato from the Global Sports Academy Japan, will see boxing history being made in Sri Lanka when atomweight champion Nao Ikeyama from Japan takes on Jujayat Nagaoka from the Philippines in a 46kg 10-round world title match. Incidentally, this is the first time in South Asia that an event of this nature is being held in Sri Lanka.
Are you ready to take the challenge?
First of all, thank you for inviting us and for welcoming us here in Sri Lanka. Yes, I'm ready to fight.
I'm okay.
She is ready. So thank you very much.
Cricket Kridawa. The Capital Maharaja organization worked with great commitment to take the game of cricket to professional level. Sirasa Cricket Challenge, Sirasa 2020 Super Fighter, as well as assisting different abled players were some of the events. We organized the Sports First Platinum Awards. This boxing championship will change the course of Sri Lanka's sporting history. This is only one step, but there is no doubt that this historic step will win the world, with Sri Lankan professional boxers being created in the future.
Today's press conference saw the participation of the World Boxing Organization and technical officials conducting the weigh-in ceremony, medical checks and the signing of the official agreement between the two boxers.
Okay, get back here. Okay, 114.
Sign ceremony completed now, please.
A beauty queen from Japan, Sachie Ogawa, is also in Colombo to witness tomorrow's event.
The Sri Lanka is an island city. I think we have a lot of similar big things. So I really love to experience your culture, like Sri Lanka's culture.
The event will get underway at Stein Studios, Ratmalana tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. with the participation of a host of local and international dignitaries. The program will also feature a super flyweight event with 8 rounds, a women's wrestling bout, and be packed with stellar entertainment performances by both local and international artists.
I think professional sports is not only very popular around the world, it is also a massive tourism driver. So we believe that Sri Lanka is perfectly placed, almost in the center of the world, to attract sports tourism, and we believe that we have everything that it takes to bring down big sporting events to Sri Lanka. This is the first, and we're very proud to be involved in the very first professional boxing event in Sri Lanka, and we really look forward to tomorrow's event, which will no doubt be spectacular.
The issue surrounding the resettlement of persons in Vavuniya was raised in Parliament today.
165 core families who have been displaced due to war and 147 extended families have been resettled. The Vavuniya District Secretary has reported that the recommendation of the District Land Committee, which is scheduled to be held on the 21st of December 2015, will be obtained and submitted to the Department of Forest for the release of the lands.
It's been 3 years since they were resettled. When these persons were resettled, they were told only to bring their clothing. They were told that a land, housing equipment, rations and assistance to build the house would be given. However, they were not being given any legal document to claim the land. Can you provide a guarantee on the time that will be taken to provide them with a legal document for their land?
Our ministry is taking all necessary action. This has been happening for so many years, and we have just taken it over for the last few months, and necessary steps are being taken. I can't give you a reassurance of what date we can give it because we have to get the Forest Department's permission, and the Forest Department will have to release the land.
Empower the Woman, a campaign launched to promote women's rights and equality, concluded its first leg today at the National Youth Services Council premises in Maharagama.
Proceedings of the Empower the Woman program commenced today under the patronage of Group Directors of the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited. Sachi Ogawa, a Japanese beauty queen who arrived in the country to attend Sri Lanka's first ever Women's World Title Boxing Championship to be held at the Stein Studios complex in Vatmalana, also attended the closing ceremony of the Empower the Woman program in a bid to further strengthen the cause. The pink band, symbolizing equality and security for women, was tied on the hands of the female populace in Maharagama.
Women from all walks of life joined with us in this program. On behalf of the Capital Maharaja Organization, I welcome all those who arrived here despite the downpour. We at the very outset need to very respectfully appreciate the support rendered by all of you for the Empower the Woman program when we travel from town to town. This initiative will not stop here. This will move further.
The attempt to identify and solve the problems that are unique to women should be commended, especially when this is done from a media that can reach out to the public. That too should be commended. I'm grateful if there was an awakening among women as a result of this program. Leave aside all the negative thoughts and start thinking positively. Do not think that this is your fate and this is your destiny and that this is all you are capable of. Leave all those thoughts aside and think positively. You will be able to see yourself. Newsfirst will always strengthen you. The little piece of paper that you filled in will make you strong. Let us join together to empower the woman.
I really thank you for inviting me. I'm really honored to be here. I really think that Sri Lankan women are so beautiful. And I hope you all have equal rights. And I also believe that you all have a strong and a big potential to do what you believe.
Even though I'm a woman, I can. We must leave aside the thought that I cannot. We are strong as all citizens are. Through the Sirasa network and through the education provided by this network, we have an opportunity now. You have security. The proposals forwarded by the women will be drafted after being produced to an expert committee. The Empower the Woman program was organized by the Sirasa Shakti Network, headed by Newsfirst with the support of the National Youth Services Council, the Sri Lanka Police, the Ministry of Local Government and Provincial Councils, and the District and Divisional Secretariats.
Before we go tonight, an altercation was reported during a discussion that took place at a meeting at the Sports Ministry over the Sri Lanka cricket elections. You can read up on the story on www.newsfirst.lk.
And that's all the news we have for you tonight. I'm Jitendra Gunasena.
And I'm Rameshwar Galbandara. Good night.